Now, what's this got to do with what we're speaking about? Let's have a look. Adam sinned. What was Adam's sin? What did he sin? What did he do wrong? He ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, that is his root sin. You with me? That relates to desire. That's his desire. That's his Aver Minachai. God said, but of the tree of knowledge you shall not eat. And right? And then it says you should be strong, don't eat the blood, that is so the first one, Adam sinned, that's the first sin of Adam. Now, that relates to this prohibition, which is Aver Minachai, not eating from a live animal. That's his not eating from a live animal. Then the divine presence left the world. But then came Cain. What did Cain do? He murdered. He transgressed another one of the 7 Noah card laws. He murdered. And then the Shekhinah went up. Why? Because God gave these 7 laws to keep him in the world. And when man transgressed each one, it pushed God further out of the world. Then came Enosh. They served idols. God moves further. These are all the 7 Noah card laws. Now, from that midrash, you would not know that this had anything to do with the 7 Noah card laws. But hold on, it gets better. Then comes the generation of the flood. The generation of flood, what did they do? What does the Torah say they were guilty of? Explicitly. There were 3 things, but explicitly it only says theft, false theft, Gezel, Hamas. That's the Dor HaMabul. Then you have, so Hashem moves further because another Noah card law is being transgressed. The Dor HaFlaga, the generation of the dispersion. What did they do wrong? Blasphemy. What did they say? We're going to make a name for ourselves. Isn't that what they said? We're going to make a name. We're going to curse the upper name. We're going to have a name. We're going to make a name for ourselves. Generation of the flood. The dispersion. Then we have the Sodomites. Right? What are the Sodomites? What is famous about the people of Storm in Abraham's time? What is so famous?
Sexual immorality.
No, not sexual immorality. Court systems. The Talmud has pages and pages in Masechet Sanhedrin that they had crooked court systems. The divine presence, another Noah card law is broken. Divine presence distance again. Finally, the Egyptians, what were they involved in? Sexual immorality. Can you see how the divine presence leaves the world each time one of the 7 Noah card laws is transgressed? Now these tzaddikim that come have to bring the Shekhinah back. They have to do a tikkun for the 7 mitzvot b'nai Noach. How are they going to do it? Well, let's have a look. Now remember, what got us from the 6th to the 7th? Sexual immorality. So there has to be someone who is exemplary in terms of sexual immorality that's going to bring God back to the 6th level. Closer to earth, to the 6th step. Who's that? Abraham. Why is that Abraham? Because Abraham was exemplary in this regard. It's something we cannot even relate to, but he hardly even looked at his own wife Sarah. I do not suggest modern human beings doing this unless you want to be hit with a frying pan many, many times. Okay. It is not advisable behavior. However, it says by Abraham, right? It says, Ata yadati, now I know that you're so beautiful, and but that's a sign. It's just our indication. It's just our indication that he was careful in the area of sexual immorality. So you see what he does? He fixes up the sin of the mixture. Who connect Isaac? Isaac represents pachad. Fear, pachad yitzchak, gvura, strength. What does strength relate to? And fear, judgment. He fixed the layer of judgment. So he brought the Shekhinah back one more level. He fixed up what the Sodomites did. And who came after that? Jacob. Jacob, what do we say about Jacob? You know, there's 3 blessings in Shemona Esrei. The first one is Magen Abraham. Who does that correspond to? Abraham. What's the second one? Ata Gibor. You are heroic. Who does that correspond to? Isaac. Isaac was the Gvura. The third one, Ata Kadosh. You are holy. Who's that? Yaakov. Yaakov was holy, as it says in Isaiah, right? It speaks about the Kedushat Yaakov. The holiness of Jacob. So Jacob was holiness. What does holiness mean? What is Kedusha? What are we doing in the third blessing? We're making God's name, it's sanctification of God's name. It's Kiddush Hashem. Ata Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh. Shimcha, your name is holy. That's Yaakov. Yaakov makes Hashem's name holy. So Yaakov fixes up the sin of blasphemy, the defaming of Hashem's name. Comes along Levi. Now what's Levi? What's great about Levi? Levi is very interesting. Levi, first of all, wasn't involved in the sin of the golden calf and all those kind of things. But Levi does not get an inheritance in the land of Israel. Levi survives from tithings. Levi has no connection to physicality. He has no desire to steal at all, because everything's provided for him. So Levi fixes up the tikkun of the Dor HaMabul, the generation that were involved in theft. Then comes Kahat. What did the tribe of Kahat do? They were the Levites that were involved in carrying the central pieces of the Mishkan. The inner vessels of the Mishkan. They fix up Avodah Zarah, because what's the purpose of the Mishkan, of the sanctuary, of the Beit HaMikdash? Avodat Hashem. What's that the opposite of? Avodah Zarah, strange worship. Finally comes Amram. Now Amram, the sages say, who was Amram? Moses' father. Moses' father's name was Amram. Amram, the sages say that he died be'itur shel nachash, which means, the Gemara says in Baba Batra, that he died because of the poison of the snake. Now what does that mean? That means he was such a righteous human being that why did death come to the world? Because of sin, because of the sin of Adam HaRishon. The only reason he died, he was free of sin, was not because of his own sin, it was because of the sin of Adam HaRishon. What did he fix up? Which sin? Murder. Murder. He was the opposite. He represented life. He should have lived if not for the poison of the snake. And he brought it back. And then comes Moshe Rabbeinu. Now Moshe Rabbeinu, what does Moshe Rabbeinu speak? What is he? Moshe Rabbeinu is the one that separates from his wife, from desire. Moshe Rabbeinu is the one that's the humblest of all men. Now this is very important, because the root cause, by the way, of all desire, the Maharal explains this in a place, is arrogance. I feel my importance when I'm desirous. I feel that I should have, right? And that causes desire. Now you see what the Maharal's done over here, and we're going to end over here. He's taken a piece of a medrash, and that the medrash just says 7 people brought it up to the heavens, 7 brought it down. That's all. He's explained the depth of it. It relates to the 7 no-card laws. You see how all the Torah fits together. It's the 7 no-card laws. Each sage corresponds to each of the 7 no-card laws. Now this the Maharal does for hundreds and thousands of pages. This brilliance, this greatness of linking the whole Torah together and showing how it all fits. It's a beautiful puzzle that works. That is a little taste, I believe, of the greatness of the Maharal. So we should all merit to continue his works, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.